Hi everyone, today's video is going to be about the OnePlus 13 and my experience with it and what I like about it and what I don't, because there are some things that I really feel like are weird choices when it comes to the OnePlus 13. So let's discuss this in my video of the good and bad on the OnePlus 13. Now before we start, let's look at the basic specifications for the new OnePlus 13. We get a 6.82 inch display with a 1440p resolution and 120Hz refresh rate with a peak brightness of 4500 nits. It comes with a 6000 mAh battery, the Snapdragon 8 Elite inside and 12 up to 24GB of RAM. When it comes to memory, it goes from 256GB all the way up to 1TB of UFS 4.0 storage. When it comes to the camera, we get a 50 megapixel main sensor with an f-stop of 1.6, 23mm equivalent, a 50 megapixel periscope telephoto with an f-stop of 2.6 and 73mm equivalent, and of course a 50 megapixel ultra wide with an f-stop of 2.0 and 15mm equivalent. Video recording goes up to 8K and 30 frames per second or 4K max 60 frames per second. For the front facing camera, we get a 32 megapixel resolution with an f-stop of 2.4 and 21mm equivalent. For the front facing camera, you can record up to 4K and 60 frames per second. So let's start as always with the positive things about the OnePlus 13, and there are some. For one, I think the software on OnePlus phones for me always has been good and a clean experience, and it is buttery smooth. It also has features that matter to me, like their own gallery app, because I genuinely hate Google Photos. So for me, those things really elevate the experience when it comes to a phone like this. Now the OnePlus 13 comes with a big upgrade for battery. We now have a 6000 mAh battery inside. This battery life is really good. I can without a doubt easily make it to the end of the day after shooting a lot of pictures and videos as well, and then some. And if it does run out, you can charge it up, with this Chinese version still coming with the charger included. Hopefully this is the same for the global release, but it charges up at 100 watt, not only giving me great battery life, but if I need to charge it, it will do that quickly. Now something else that in day-to-day life for me is a huge benefit is now the new fingerprint scanner. It uses the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. Sure, it still uses the first generation and not the ones that we've seen on the likes of the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, the X80 Pro, where it has a larger area to work with and is much faster. It still is a huge upgrade. It is more reliable, it doesn't have that brightness coming up as well. And of course with the ultrasonic it uses a different technology. Ultrasonic isn't a camera sensor. It's literally sound waves hitting your thumb to then see the depth of your thumb itself or whatever you have set up as your finger, and then it recognizes whether that's the correct one or not. That's a huge upgrade for me, and I think it's a huge benefit for the OnePlus 13 over the OnePlus 12 and some other devices that of course still use that optical fingerprint scanner. Now part of the compliments I also want to give will also be covered in the lesser points of the OnePlus 13, and that's the camera. From the experience so far where I compared the OnePlus 12 and the 13 has a good upgrade in terms of processing images for the ultra wide, because it does have a smaller sensor to the 12. It retains a lot more detail and it has a lot better low light experience as well compared to the OnePlus 12. And the zoom depending on the shot itself is also a little bit better compared to the OnePlus 12, but that's mostly true in low light photography. I will also say that I like the processing better in Master compared to the OnePlus 12. Now one thing that isn't really a good or a bad thing and very much opinion based is the display itself. Now I'm not talking about the brightness itself or the resolution. I think there OnePlus has done a solid job. The display is really nice, and in terms of using it in direct sunlight, it really performs well with the brightness that I get on it. No, I'm talking about not having a curved display anymore. It right now has a technically flat display with curved glass around it itself. This makes a difference in day-to-day use, but also of course for some people they prefer something like this. And of course putting screen protectors on this is much easier compared to a curved display. Again, this is opinion based, but I'm curious whether you think it's an upgrade or a downgrade to have this kind of display. Now we get to the parts that I'm not a fan of. Let's start with the design, and I know this is going to be opinion based. But the OnePlus 12, even more so the green one, looked stunning. It had small intricate details in the camera ring itself and just beautiful small details that made it stand out, like the small specks looking like stars. But the 13 in return just looks very plain. I went for the black one because I cannot comprehend the idea of mixing this blue with this silver ring. It really doesn't look good at all. It just looks poor. If you want a floating ring as well, then at least center it, because then it will look cleaner. Having it on the side like that doesn't make a lot of sense if you're not utilizing it properly. I just think design wise it's a step back compared to what we got with the OnePlus 12. Now the camera. As I said, it has a positive segment but also a negative. I love shooting shots of flowers, and often with that comes the use of the telephoto, because you will block less light coming onto the flower itself and the compression is better with it. But with this new OnePlus 13 they made that the minimum focus distance is 50 centimeters. 50. That's a big distance and it ruins flower shots that I want to take. Sure, I can crop in on, for instance, the main sensor, but that also comes at a price as well. And again, it doesn't have the same compression. I do not understand why they decided to do this, and I seriously have thought about it long and hard. And nothing that pops up makes sense for me when it comes to this choice, because simply put, it's a poor choice. 50 centimeters minimum focus distance is way too much. So when it comes to the OnePlus 13, I think overall it will be a good device. So far my experience has been that in terms of performance it's been excellent. In day-to-day use this is easily a phone that I can recommend because of its great battery life. I also think that, like I said, in Master the photography looks much better, it looks more appealing. Yes, you can also edit them better because simply put it doesn't have that processing that you see for instance on the OnePlus 12. And I think there it really nails the experience far better than it did on the OnePlus 12. That being said, if you like for instance close-up of flowers, then there I think OnePlus made a really weird choice when it comes to the camera decision that they made here. Yes, the telephoto periscope is an improvement, but that part of it is definitely a huge downgrade, and for someone like me that's a bad choice. It would make it that I lose out on a lot of shot potential simply because of that choice. I feel like it's a really weird way to handle that telephoto periscope. I don't get it and I don't understand why they made that choice. That being said, I also think that the OnePlus 12 definitely looks better than the OnePlus 13. So, if you have the OnePlus 12, is it really worth upgrading to the new OnePlus 13? I would say maybe only for battery life, but naturally I would always say when it comes to phones, I hardly would recommend a year-to-year upgrade, because simply put, it's not going to be a huge upgrade like we saw in the past with mobile phones where it actually felt like an upgrade. These days, yes, you will see improvement, but it won't be a huge step up where I feel like you should spend another 600, 700, 800 euros to get the phone itself. And we don't even know yet what the price is going to be for the new OnePlus 13 for the global market, but via tradingShenZhen, this one already cost me 800 euros to get here. So that's quite a bit of money. By the way, link in the description for tradingShenZhen if you do want to get it via there. Either way, let me know what you think about the OnePlus 13 and what do you think about the design and the choices that they made when it comes to this new OnePlus 13. And do you feel like the telephoto periscope is a compromise that you cannot have as well? Let me know in the comments below. And if you aren't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe, like and everything like that. And talk to you guys in the next.